November 21st, 2024, the Land Insights data platform releases. And we're hosting a 6-hour launch party live here on YouTube. But before I dive into that, I want to share a story about the tool that I wish I had when I first got into this business. We got to rewind the clock back to 2019 when I stumbled into the land business. And back then, I was aggregating my ownership records through Excel sheets and random PDFs and XLSKs. And even in some cases, I had CDs mailed to me directly from the county recorder's office. Because at that point, while there were tons of tools out there, they were outside of the scope of my awareness. They were real estate tools that land investors were using, but I just wasn't aware of any of them because I wasn't in the know. So I went through the school of hard knocks. I was aggregating my own list directly from the county records. Now, soon I wisened up and I started using some of the more mainstream tools out there. I used a popular one called PropStream to get started. It was $99 a month. 10,000 free records came with that. And I got the job done early. But the problem was twofold. One, there was no way that I could possibly run due diligence on an individual property on there. And more importantly, the data was old. The data was stinking old. And the thing is, in the land business, more than likely you're spending somewhere between 50 and 60 cents for every 2-page letter that you mail out. And so when you're mailing out your hard-earned dollars on a piece of data where the owner sold it 6 months ago, that's a problem. That's a really, really big problem. So what I learned is that cheap data oftentimes can be royally expensive when it comes to your marketing. So quickly, I pivoted. I found some of the other mainstream tools out there and started using them and found that the data quality was light years beyond what I was used to. And frankly, there's no shortage of quality data in the land business nowadays. But the problem is there's no tool that grows with you. There's no tool that does everything in one place under one umbrella, under one roof. And so while I started using some of the great data tools out there that have really slick UIs and they've got high quality, up-to-date data, I was initially paying through the nose. I was paying 9 cents, 10 cents, even 12 cents per record in some cases. But on top of that, I started to have to kind of build this portfolio of tools to do all the different things that I wanted them to do. I had my Trello board, which was a Kanban for my marketing. I had data tree and PropStream and different tools to go and aggregate my data. I had tools like Land ID to go and run my due diligence. I was using the Pebble Chrome extension for my comps. And so I ended up ballooning this massive list of tools. I said, God, there's got to be a better way. And in fact, I reached a point in my data journey where I was pulling up so much gosh darn data on this a la carte model that I'm like, dude, I'm spending a war chest of money every year on data. Who's got the unlimited data option? So I would hear these whispers in the land space of this tool called Land Vision. But what I had always heard is it's $20,000 up front. I'm like, I'm pulling a lot of data, but I don't know if I'm pulling that much data. So I just kind of never wrestled with that idea, left it at bay. And it wasn't until we had a gentleman inside of Leah named Jerry who said, hey, I can get us a great deal. I think what I can do is go drum up a few dozen people and we can go to Land Vision and we can get a sweet deal. And swear, he got us a sweet deal. It was a ginormous discount relative to that $20,000 price tag that I initially heard about. But again, I still have this tool that has great data, has some really cool overlays and some really cool stuff that none of the other tools had, especially when it came to commercial stuff and developing, and it was awesome. But still, I'm left holding the bag with all of these other subscriptions. At one point in my business, I had Data Tree, I had Land Vision, I had the pro version of Land ID, I had Pebble, I had Follow Up Boss, I had Trello, I had Notion, had all of these different tools. And what started to happen is not only were we spending an arm and a leg, but some of the stuff just started slipping through the cracks. My team stopped adhering to using the tools as they should have been used because there was just too much for them to even stay consistent with. So last year, June 2023, we launched Land Insights. Starts as a market analytics platform. It starts as a tool to simply show you where all of the trends are in land, where the demand is, what pricing looks like. It says, go market in these places, right? It's ugly. It's heinous. It gets the job done. The data is good. The tool's heinous. And I'll be the first one to admit it. Like a lot of things that I've built when they first come out, they suck. But I'm not afraid to release something that sucks, to go and get feedback and to improve. Because the problem is most folks out there that think they're entrepreneurs, they stay in this quasi stealth mode waiting to release for eons. Problem is you have no customers. Problem is you've got no feedback. The problem is you're more than likely trying to assume what people want. And so what's fascinating is we released this tool last year and then we get some early traction out of the gate. We're like, I like this. This is awesome. But here are the 10 things I want to see. And one of the things that kept on cropping up was, why can't we just download our data from here? We're already picking the market. We already spend hours a day inside of this tool. I should be able to click export, find a hot market, give it to me. I've got the pricing right here. Slap it, overlay it, good to go. I've been thinking about that idea for a long time. But the funny thing is, I never thought I would be the guy to solve it. Call it limiting beliefs, call it self-doubt, got a lot of it, like anyone else. I figured someone smarter, bigger, better than me would go and solve that problem. Trouble is, the clock's been ticking and I've been sitting here for 5 years and no one's done a damn thing about it. So we rally up the troops. Rylan, Kyle, 2 co-founders behind Land Insights. At the beginning of this year, we're going to give a crack at this monstrous problem. A problem that we didn't even know where to start. We had a good grasp in terms of what we would want. We had some pretty good feedback in terms of our user base, what they would want. But how the heck do you actually materialize that and turn that into reality? How the heck do you even go and get all of the data in the US? How do you keep that up-to-date, polished, fresh? How do you build a UI that leaves your users feeling better at the end of their session than when we first started? How do you overlay all of the market insights and the analytics I would want to see? How do I go and pull up a county and instantly see the properties I'm going to market to, smack dab overlaid with an MLS layer showing us all the comps in that area? How do you dream that stuff up and actually put it to reality? No clue. So we've been cracking away, chipping away at it. Fast forward the clock, it's 11 months into 2024. And on the 21st of this month, we hit go. We send it into the world. Now, we're only opening it up to 40 new users. Now, if you're a current Land Insights user, you're good to go. Really, the whole entire ethos of Land Insights is how do you build a tool that does everything in the land business that operates under the idea of being Costco membership. You hold your membership, you get a lot of things that are free, the things that are paid, you get massive discounts on, you get features that otherwise people wouldn't be able to get access to, and that's the model. So if you're a Land Insights user, no harm, no foul, you're good to go. And if you're not a Land Insights user, we're opening up 40 seats. And we do this because our user base desperately begs us to not allow any other people to join the platform. That's God's honest truth. Problem is, it's also a business. We've got mouths to feed and team members to make sure that they get paid on time and to make sure that we can continue to grow and continue to add features. So yeah, the business does have to grow, but we've towed that line. How do we find that balance where we keep our users happy, we don't saturate the market analytics, but we still allow the business to grow so we can continue to reinvest and build more and more and more features. And that's exactly what we've done. This whole entire Land Insights data platform build out has been a byproduct of reinvesting and taking the feedback from our users to build a tool that serves them. That's the whole thing. This isn't a cash grab. This isn't something that's like a get rich quick scheme. This isn't something that people are putting massive amounts of money in their pocket. No, this is a game where we're saying, cool, you've got ideas. I like those ideas. Some of them we're going to take, some of them we're going to shelve. We're going to take the revenue from the business, keep on cycling it in. And one day you fast forward 10 years from now and there's a tool that rules them all. There's a tool that does absolutely everything that should have been done in this business a long time ago. It's an opportunity that's been sitting in the face of every single person in this business, yet no one's wanted to pony up and take it down. And I understand why. It's hard. So November 21st, 3 p.m. PST, 6-hour live stream. It's a launch party. It's crazy. I probably won't drink, but the rest of the people will drink. I'll definitely smoke a cigar. We're going to hang out. We're going to celebrate. We're going to answer questions. We're going to reveal the platform. We're going to do a whole lot of fun and a little bit of education, but mostly fun. And on that call, we're going to be opening up 40 seats. So 40 spots. If you're not a current Land Insights user, on that call, you'll be able to sign up directly. Typically, we make folks go through a demo call where we show them the platform. We vet them, make sure they're the right fit for the platform. This is not like that. Directly on this live launch party, click, join. Access, yes. Win, yes. Life-changing tool, yes. All right, that's the lowdown in terms of the launch. Let's talk about what's actually making it into V1 of this platform. Now, again, I am so proud of what we've put together, but anything you release always feels half-baked. It always feels like there's stuff that's missing. There's a laundry list of things that are in queue or soon to be in queue that will be added into Land Insights for the data platform and for Land Insights in general. It's this constant revolving door of feature gets completed, new feature comes in, feature gets completed, new feature comes in. And at this point, we're shipping new features every single 2 weeks. That pace will not stop with the release of the data platform. In fact, our team has only grown during this build out, and we expect to keep the same team size, which will allow us to release faster and faster and faster. So I've got my phone here. I'm going to run through kind of the main hitter points that are going to be inside of the data platform. Now, 2 things that I want to touch on. What's the pricing model look like inside of the Land Insights? It's 2 pricing models. This is exactly what I dreamed up a long time ago. I wanted a pricing model that allowed me to grow with the platform, okay? I don't want to get an unlimited data platform out of the gate because I don't want it. I don't need it. I also don't want an a la carte platform where I'm paying 12 cents out of the gate. I want the best of both worlds. So the standard, no matter where you're at in your land business, if you're a Land Insights user out of the gate, you're at 6 cents a la carte per record. There's no minimums. You can pull 1 record a month to get that price. A lot of the tools are going to have some kind of minimums that you might have to adhere to. You get free landlocked scrubbing on all of your data. You get 50% off all scrubs that are currently inside the platform, flood zone, wetlands, all future scrubs that are being added in, like road frontage length, like topo. There's a laundry list of new scrubs that are coming out in Q1 of 2025. All of those are 50% off. Now, on the flip side, once you eclipse about 75,000 data pulls per per year, you've now met the match for our unlimited data platform, which is $4,500 per year. So if you're in excess of 75,000 records, that's kind of the cue. All right, it's time to upgrade because everything thereafter is ultimately going to be a savings. For folks that are doing texting or cold calling, or you're running these channels where you're pulling 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000 data points per month in your land business, the unlimited is just a no-brainer. In my land business, we're pulling 200,000 plus records a month. So I could never, under any circumstance, afford to be on an a la carte model. So I think that's kind of the main demographic for folks that are using alternative marketing channels, or you're just doing an unbelievable quantity of mail. And there's no weird backdoor. You don't have to know someone that knows someone that knows someone to get this discount. You don't have to come and bring us 25 people to get this discount. Out of the gate, if you're a Land Insights user, that will always be available to you. I think that's powerful. I think it's powerful to be able to grow within a tool. I don't want to have to go from PropStream to this tool, to this tool, to this tool, and forever be bouncing around for my whole entire land investing career. On top of that, I don't want to have a tool that only allows me to pull data, but doesn't help me with my comps, or doesn't help me with my market selection, or doesn't help me with my due diligence. I want that all under one umbrella. And I think you probably want that as well. Let's talk about what's inside the feature list. Obvious ones: quick search, look up parcels by GPS, APN, or owner. We have a really cool autofill kind of suggestion feature within there. Filter and export parcels, obviously. Parcel due diligence. So kind of all the things that you'd love and expect in the parcel due diligence tool is inside here. Now, what I will say, due diligence runs deep, right? And everyone's DD looks a little bit different. Some people want to go look at due diligence and find whatever, old oil wells or gas pipelines or substations. Those are features that will come into the due diligence platform with due time. Really out of the gate for due diligence, we're hitting on all the key land investing things, okay? So think typical land investor. There are definitely due diligence layers that apply to alternative business models or folks doing alternative deals, which we will absolutely service. But out of the gate, we have to service our core demographic, which is the rural recreational and rural infill land investors. And so the overlays and the due diligence features that you would expect for that kind of business model will be inside there. Obviously, be able to view previous exports, so kind of a history of all your previous exports. This is helpful if you're seeing your team that's exporting inside of there. That way you have visibility on all the exports that they're doing. As you start to build a team, more than likely you're not doing the data pulls, but I want a really easy way inside the tool as a source of truth to go see all the previous data pulls. When exporting, you can set up your scrubbing tool, your scrubbing job. So as you're exporting, you can actually have that in the queue and go and trigger that scrub. Again, free landlocked scrubbing for anyone that's on the a la carte or unlimited data platform, and then 50% off for all the other scrubs, which would be at 2 cents per scrub. Same thing, while you're exporting, you can queue up your skipping jobs so you can have all this stuff kind of running simultaneously. That's another real frustrating point that I've seen for our users is we got to go pull from this platform, pop it into Land Insights, go do our scrubbing, then pop it into the skip tracer. You're talking about 2 clicks and everything's going to be as a domino effect kind of sequence that takes over for you. Data layers: county, zip code, wetlands, flood zone, sold, active, pending, MLS. This is one of the most important data layers that I don't know why has not been added to the tools that deserve to have it, which any tool that has a huge cohort of land investors deserves to have this. When I'm going and looking at a subdivision, no, I don't want to have to go to Redfin to find my comps. I want that to be a data layer that smack dabs and layers on top of it. Same thing if I'm looking at a county, if I'm looking at a zip code. If you're inside of Leah, you'll know what we talk about, our Google My Maps pricing strategy. That's a series of modules that we have inside of Leah. This is that same framework done through automation and done for you at no cost, just as an overlay on top of your data. Building footprints, we have an AI detection that will detect building footprints. This is just a layer that you can add on. This is really helpful because what you've probably seen is that the building square foot features aren't always accurate. And that's not a problem of the third-party data provider. There's just oddities at the actual county level. And so there'll be stuff that either didn't have building permits or there's just weird things that crop up, right? And you find out this thing's got a 1,000 square foot home on it, but the data is telling you otherwise. So our AI building detection will actually go and look at the visual read of the satellite images, and it'll show you, and you'll see a little icon on there when it actually triggers and labels that, hey, there's a structure on this property that you might not recognize. That's also really helpful because you might find properties that have foliage and you're like squinting at it. Like, is that a house? Is that a mobile home? What am I looking at? Is that a tree? This will be able to actually label that for you. It's really cool. Map layers: satellite view with 3D view and street view. Street view, oddly, was a hard feature to get in here for a lot of reasons, but street view is a really important one. That's actually a key part of our due diligence. Anytime that we're looking at a property digitally, we're always going to drop a pin and go and look at that parcel. You're going to learn so much more about that than a 2D or 3D satellite image or render rendering. And so being able to drop that pin is really important for us. Ability to save filters for all reuse purposes, obviously. You can click your properties directly for a due diligence tab. And so from there, really essentially optimize for land acquisitions. So if you're looking at your data, let's say there's 1,000 properties on there, you can click one and get essentially a due diligence acquisition card. So think about all the things that we talk about inside of Leo, okay? Which there's a lot of them. But what are the things that we talk about when a new property comes into our CRM that we're gonna go and look to discover? What are those key metrics? Well, that acquisition card that's really geared for that will give you all that information. Same thing when you want to go and search by APN or coordinates or what have you, you'll get that acquisition card that comes up that gives you, for example, upon many, many other things, the instrument that was used in the sale, if it was an interfamily sale, what it sold for, when it sold for, all the due diligence information just on a really simple card right there. You don't have to go poking around or you don't have to go pay for reports to get that information. It's free and it's all right there, one click of a button. On top of this is what's really cool, because we own all of these market analytics for the US. Within there, when you're looking at that property's due diligence card, you're gonna actually be able to see the sell-through rate metrics. So the 1 month, the 3 month, 6 month, on and again for that property's bracket. So let's imagine that you're looking at a 5 to 10 acre property, let's say it's 6 acres, where we can show you the 5 to 10 acre STRs for that and give you all the market analytics within that property's due diligence card, which is really nifty. And many, many other cool little due diligence features. Again, interfamily transfers, that's a big one for us. So that's a really key data point that I want to know within a click of a button. If it's in an HOA, measurement tools, and a whole litany of other additional features. But those are the main hitters. Those are the main key pieces that are making it into V1 for the data platform. And what's nice is everything within Land Insights now all of a sudden is beautifully married together. It's all meshed in together under one umbrella to ultimately create an advantage, what we call an unfair advantage. Because the truth is the land business over time will become more competitive without a shadow of a doubt. Right now, we're still very much in the skill arena, right? I see it within Leah. There's a huge delta in people's results because of their personal skills. And that's going to be the case for a long time. But what else can we do to give ourselves an unfair advantage? Well, we're moving into this code and AI revolution to where can we create an advantage via tools that other folks don't have access to, visibility to data that other people don't have access to. Now that's kind of a higher level of competition, right? That's kind of preemptive relative to where the land business is at today, because you can still kick the pants off of other people without all the fancy tools and with just pure hard grit and strong skill set. And I never want to pretend that someone has to have all the nifty tools or has to have Land Insights. That's not where this business is at, but that's probably where the puck is going. And so if you want to beat out the competition in the long run, I think having access to stuff makes sense. But more than anything, if you want to go further and go faster, having access to this information, in my opinion, is a wise investment. Now, all things being considered, if you were to go and compare the other data platforms out there and the tools that you would need, which many of the tools don't even have the features that Land Insights has, you're still going to be paying substantially more for all of them combined. And that's the beautiful thing about economies of scale. As we continue to add more and more to this tool, we can create economies of scale that simply other tools cannot. If you're just a data provider or a due diligence provider or a comping tool, you cannot compete with our pricing model. And I think that ultimately plays out in the best interest of our users. Now, here's the irony. The irony is, in the beginning, there's been a small minority of people, which I don't blame them. They use Land Insights back in its early stages when it was on Tableau. Of course, some people, they didn't love it. That's okay. They liked the data. They like the use case, they like the idea. The execution is not good enough. For those that have been sitting on the sidelines waiting to jump back in, now's your chance. Now's a chance to get access to the best land investing tool that's on the market. And yes, you have watched us build this in real time from nothing to something. And I hope on some level, no matter what you're doing, whether you love Land Insights or you don't, I hope that it gives you some level of inspiration to see how a tool that could start so terribly, that could be such a train wreck out of the gates, could turn into what it is today. And that is a lesson in entrepreneurship. That is a lesson in grit. That is a lesson in turning nothing into something. And you guys have watched that firsthand. And I don't say that to toot our own horn by any means. I say that first and foremost to thank our users, to thank the majority that have stuck by us, the majority that have given us positive accolades, the majority that have given us positive feedback and feedback that's allowed us to build this tool, and the majority of people that have continued to support us even during the early days, even when things were ugly, nasty, not so great. But we knew that's how we had to start. It was gritty, and I wouldn't change it for anything. So for our users, thank you. For the folks on the sidelines, thank you, because whether you guys realize it or not, you've also given us powerful feedback, and I do appreciate it. For our team, thank you. Seriously, this has taken a freaking village. And I play a very, very, very small part in the success of Land Insights. It really comes down to the individuals behind the scenes, but ultimately how we are able to mesh together, how we are able to slay dragons together and go to battle and build something really cool together. I wouldn't have it any other way. So grateful across the board. I can't wait to share this with you guys November 21st at 3 p.m. PST.